All right, Shalom. This is Harawan by Yasha Allah of the Lions Den Camp. I want to say Kal Halayim, La Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Harakakodash, Ma'amath. Double honor to the elder apostles of GMS and the elders. Shalom to you, Akim, Nakwatim, and children that believe in sincerity and truth around the four corners of the earth. This is a topic I want to go into on this, something that's going to happen with the celestial bodies, meaning the heavenly bodies, or the new moons, or the moon, or the sun, or the stars. Another sign in the heavens. Now, what this is called a hunter's moon. All right. It says, I'm gonna read the title. It says, massive, bright orange hunter's moon will take over sky this Sunday. All right. So if you went outside, you probably saw that the moon was real bright. That's called a hunter's moon. And, first thing I thought about was spiritual. All right. Now, if you remember the movie Predator, I just had a thought. I'm just thinking, you remember the movie Predator, where the more recent one, on the movie, they were speaking about the Predator. They were saying, yeah, man, the Predators, they made the Earth and they made a bunch of people on it as a game, like a hunting grounds. And every few years they show up to hunt. And, so when I heard about this moon, which comes around every few years, Esau named it the hunter's moon. All right. And it represents the time for hunting. Now, you got Esau is about to hunt for our people. All right. So it's just a time of war. That's the time we're moving into. It says massive, bright orange hunter's moon will take over sky this Sunday. All right. So, all right. Ecclesiastes 3:1. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. All right. So in everything that's under the heaven, there is a time, meaning appointed time. All right. Even for feast days, for judgment, for deliverance, for hunting, for peace, for love. So I'm gonna get into that. It says, verse 2, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted, right? Because everything that's under the earth, under the heavens, on this earth is bound by time. All right. The Most High operates outside of it. He controls time and all these occurrences that happen. It says what? A time to kill and a time to heal. We're going into that time of the Lord killing a lot of people and also healing the children of Israel. The elect. A time to break down and a time to build up. All right. Hey, where is that? I'm going to skip down because a lot of them, I don't want to lose the point. Verse 8, a time to love and a time to hate, and a time of war and a time of peace. And if you pay attention to the signs that's going on around the world, we're going into a time of war. All right. And scriptures say when they try to say peace, this is 1 Thessalonians 5. 1 Thessalonians 5:1. That this is important. Wow, this is spirit. It says, but of the times, there you go, the times. All right, time for war. Time for a lot of death was about to happen. A time of hunting. All right, but Esau, the spiritual demon Satan is hunting. He said he go around the earth seeking as a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. And that's talking about Esau. All right, and spiritual demon Satan. So you have, but ultimately the hunters are going to become the hunted. All right, 1 Thessalonians 5:1. But of the times and seasons, All right, because we coming into a bad time. The times are evil. Brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you, for yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them. Sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. But ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that that day should overtake you as a thief, man. All right. So now, all right. I can't find the picture I took of this column here where we spoke about the moon being a hunter moon. They were saying it represents the time of hunting, and so I guess excuse me. So I guess I didn't take that picture, so I'm gonna just read this part and move on. The moon illusion happens when the moon rises low, causing observers to view the celestial body, meaning celestial meaning something made outside the Earth's atmosphere. It represents celestial body, something made in the heavens. All right. In relation to objects on Earth that provide scale versus the moon, versus when the moon rises high overhead, appearing like a small disk consumed by the vast abyss of space to the naked eye, right? Because the space is what you call the space vacuum or the Shemayim, what you call the universe. That's all what they call an abyss or waters. All right. Now, and it says what the moon rises lower, and that's going to make it look bigger because you're going to have objects in front of it, like buildings and things that you can actually use to provide scale to it, like a ruler. So it's going to look bigger than it would just sitting up in the sky overhead. All right. So it says, while many moon names, such as the full strawberry moon, I guess a red moon, the full pink moon, mark the transition of seasons. Wow. All right, for seasons, man. So that's why we see the moon change all them colors from the light from the sun beaming on it, and different versions of light hitting it, different angles of light hitting it. Beautiful process, man. It says full hunter's moon. So it says they mark the transition of seasons. That's what the moon is for, man. For times, for seasons. It separates the day, months. Because without that, you would just have days. It'd just be days over and over and over again. Nothing to count. So what divides that? The month, the moon. It says the full hunter's moon isn't tied to any specific month, according to the Farmer's Almanac. All right. It says the hunter's moon is the first full moon to rise following the harvest moon. The full moon that is observed closest to the autumnal equinox. And what that means is the next paragraph, I think, was speaking about the hunter's moon represent the time of hunting, man. All right. And that's the time they talking about a recession going on. They got wars breaking out around the world. And it's a spiritual sign, man. This is Ephesians 5:14. Wherefore he saith, awake, thou that sleepest, and arise from the dead, and Yahushua shall give thee light, man. All right. How do you arise from the dead? By turning to Yahushua, repenting, and you come back to who you are, being an Israelite, and then the Lord will give you wisdom and build you in this truth. Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. That's the light. See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise. All right, circumspect meaning have your head on a swivel, being on point. Redeeming the time. All right, measuring the time according to Second Ezra chapter 9. You know, he says, measure the time diligently in itself. When you see part of the signs past that he has told us of before, then you know that the very same time when the Most High is going to visit the world that he made. It's crazy. And he's going to visit through what? Judgment. Through hunting. Sending his angels out. It says, see then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time because the days are evil. See, we're going into some evil times, man. Evil days. All right. Wherefore, be ye not unwise, but understanding what the will of the Lord is, man. He say what? He came not to send peace on earth. He came to bring a sword. Hunting, right? It's crazy, man. And he said what? Wait for him till he rise up to the prey. And prey is something that you hunt. He said it should be as a chase row. So he's going to turn his men into hunters. And they're going to hunt these damn heathens. All this is going to lead up to that. You know, World War III, Esau being the hunter, the mighty hunter on earth, hunting the children of Israel, seeking whom they may devour. And now the Lord going to turn the tables and they're going to be hunted. All right, he's going to have these nations hunting them. And ultimately the angels and the hopeful elect, they're going to hunt down the Illuminati in the kingdom. And be not drunk with wine wherein is excess, but be filled with the Spirit, speaking to yourselves in psalms and hymns. All right, I don't know what it's going into. Let's see something. This is Jeremiah 16:16. Behold, I will send for many fishers, saith Yahweh, and they shall fish them. So right now we're fishing. He said, well, I will make you fishers of men. And we go out and we cast that line that the Lord promised. He said a line shall go out throughout the whole earth, you know, for the children of Israel. And we cast that net into the waters, right, among the people. And that net is this word. And we fish. All right. It says, and after I will send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain. That means every government, every country, and from every hill, every city, and out of the holes of the rocks, man. So they're talking about their damn bunkers. So the Lord gonna have his hopeful elect be hunters once he gives them that spiritual ability. All right. This is Isaiah 59:19. So shall they fear the name of Yahweh from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. I mean, all four corners of the earth, man. From the east to the west. You know? Or the west to the east, either one. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, so that represents America, when they send the martial law troops, or the New World Order troops, to go rushing in on the children of Israel, it says what? On all the people. It says the spirit of Yahweh shall lift up a standard against them, right? He's going to say, touch not my anointed. All right. And that standard is going to be spiritual protection and ultimately spiritual power. All right. And then those men going to get what? New bodies. All right. This is 1 Peter 5:7. It says, casting all your care upon him, for he careth for you. And that's what we're doing now. He said, seek me early while he may be found. Seek him early while he may be found. All right, before the evil days draw nigh. You see that? In fact, let me get that real quick. This is Ecclesiastes 12:1. Remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth, man. So remember him now in the days of our youth. All right. While the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. This is Proverbs 1:22. How long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity? And the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge. All right, talking about 2/3 of our people. Turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit upon you. I will make known my words unto you. That's what he was talking about, by putting the light inside of a person. It says, because I have called and ye refused, I have stretched out my hand and no man regarded. But ye have set at naught all my counsel and would none of my reproof, meaning blame. All right. And when we, like people like Zabak, we blame them for twisting the scriptures, dealing with the RFID chip, and he won't take that rebuke. When your fear cometh as a desolation, so I can, and I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. Crazy, right? So what's that fear? It's gonna be what? The day of evil, judgment, calamity. When your fear cometh as a desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish cometh upon you, then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer them. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. All right, so you what? For that they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of Yahweh. So a wise man is going to seek the Lord early, and they shall find him now. Not when the destruction comes, and then you try to seek after the Lord early in your affliction. Proverbs 8:17. I love them that love me, and those that seek me early shall find me. Right? Those that see the signs happening, paying attention to the signs, that's not afraid of the signs, right? This is Jeremiah 10:1. Hear ye the word which Yahweh speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith Yahweh, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. All right, this is the word dismayed. It says, become or be alarmed. So don't be alarmed at the signs of heaven. When you see this chariots, when you see the hunter's moon, all these different things going on, what you're supposed to do is what? He say, this is 2 Ezra 9:1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. So that's what we're supposed to be doing, measuring the times according to the scriptures. And you measure something by what? Analyzing it. By what? Watching. So we watch and we warn the people, but we have a hope of salvation. And the Lord didn't give us a spirit of fear. All right. So the hunter's moon and all these judgments happening upon the earth. One, that let us know we in the fall season. And also it lets us know what? Time of harvest. And spiritual, man. All right. Now, and it says, so we measure the time diligently in whatever age we're in, according to the prophecies. And when thou seest part of the sign pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. It says, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world. We're seeing that. You got protests in Hong Kong, in Europe, over in the Middle East, or in the East, right? Over there in the land of Israel, you got protests. You got all kind of shit going on. Uproars of the nations, nation rising against nation. All right, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Iran, Syria, America, Russia. You know, just yesterday, Russia joined in, and I might do a lesson on it in a second. They backed the Kurds and join them to the Syrian army now. So now they're going to be backed by the Syrian army and Russia going against Turkey. It's crazy, man. So it says, for like as all that is made in the world, so like verse 4, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning, the Bariashia, from the beginning of time. All right. Genesis. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. Right? And he really started speaking with Yahushua, telling us everything, man. All right? About the end of Esau's time. Even so, it said the end is manifest. Even so, the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonder and powerful works and endings and effects and signs, man. Just like going into Egypt, we went into Egypt, but then we came out with what? Miraculous deliverance. We came into America with mighty power. The Lord sent us into slavery. He put us under Esau. But now to come out of that, He's going to deliver us with a great deliverance with effects and signs. And one of those signs are the moon, signs in the sun and the celestial bodies, the stars, and ultimately the chariots. All right, and the prophecies. This is Sirach 43:6. He made the moon also to serve in her season. All right, so the moon is set up to declare what? The month. Without the moon, you couldn't have dividing of times. You know, it would just be the sun shining on the earth, and it would be dark on one side of the earth and light on one side of the earth. That would be it. And if that sun goes around the earth, or that process of that pendulum, if you put two balls on one string in the water and you spin them and nobody's there to see it, when you first spin it, you don't know which one's swinging first or around which one, you know? So they say that the earth goes around the sun, but it really, it could be the other way around. But anyway, so it would be that process, just days, day and night, day and night, day and night. So what's the dividing of that? The moon. The moon is set up to divide those things. And it tells you the seasons, that it waxes, it wanes. First quarter moon, second quarter moon, last quarter moon, full moon, new moon. Right? Well, not second quarter, but full moon. Waxing, waning, crescent. All right. So that's what lets you know what? The harvest. It lets you know when the Sabbath, the Shabbat comes in, the seventh day of the week. All right. It lets you know when the new month starts. And the Lord said it was going to be what? It was going to be the beginning of months unto us. Because when we went into Egypt under Joseph, we understood these things. But when we came out of Egypt, our people were following the Egyptian calendar. You see that? So when we came out of Egypt, the Lord put us right back on that schedule of the new moon, with the Passover. He put us right back on the beginning of the first month, which would be Abib, which means to spring up, or it'd be around March or April. All right, beginning of a year, springtime. So it's going to be the beginning of years unto us. All right, so that's what we can tell the weeks, the days, and the years. He created the sun to tell the difference between the day and night, and the moon to tell the difference between the months. All right. So you people out there that go according to Friday to Saturday sundown, as far as the Sabbath, you're going according to the sun. You're following the sun calendar, man. It's crazy, right? You're out of order. You might not be worshiping the sun, which is good, but you're still doing things out of order because the Lord said don't go according to the sun. That's what these heathens go according to, the pagan calendar. Even the word sun comes from a deity. Solar comes from a deity, a pagan deity. All right, the solar calendar. Well, we're supposed to go by what? The new moon calendar. Not no Friday, Freya day to Saturn day and Sunday. You know, so going according to the days, sundown to sundown, sundown to sundown. No, we go according to the new moon. That's what sets up your new month. That's what tells you the day of the Sabbath. And then you go into day 1, day 2, day 3. All right. So this moon giving off what you call that orange hue or color, it lets you know we're going into a hunter season. All right. The time to harvest. So it's Sirach 43:6. He made the moon also to serve in her season for a declaration of times and a sign of the world. Right. Let me get this real quick. All right. This is the actual moon itself, like the actual object. All right. And it says the moon, Yarak. All right. Yaraka or Yarak. And it means what? The moon. All right. All right. And this is how you say new moon. It says Kadash. You'll say Kadash Yarak, which would be new moon or moon. It says the new moon, a month. So you tell the month by what? Looking at the moon, man. And you cannot have weeks without having days. You can't have days without the sun. And you can have night without the moon, but you can't have days without the sun. See that? That's very important to understand reading Genesis. Now, you can't have weeks without days, and you can't have a month without a week. But you cannot have a week 7 days a week. That process would just continue. It'd just be days, days, days. Sun going down, sun rising. Sun going down, sun rising. That's it. But what stops that? What divides that is the moon at night. It lets you know a new moon or a new month. All right. The first day of the month, the lunar month. All right. So we go according to the lunar calendar. If you want to find out what the new moon is, look up lunar calendar and you'll find out when the new moon is. All right. You have, I looked it up. This is called what? A lunar calendar. This is how you want to find the phases of the moon. Now, even right here, it says, it's waning gibbous, right? I mean, it's going back into that, first quarter state. Now, what you have right here is a full moon, all right? A hunter's moon. Now, you see, you just had that typhoon that hit Japan at the same time an earthquake hit. All these things are happening because the moon, the Lord's manipulating the elements on the earth through the rays of the sun. That's where you get the word sun from. It represents the sun rays, not the actual object, the award, the light. That's very important. Full moon, hunter's moon. All right, so now we're in a hunter's moon. Let's see what that is. All right. It says October's full moon is the hunter's moon. It is also called travel moon, dying grass moon, and sometimes blood moon or sanguine moon. All right. Let me see what it is so I can see if it's worth reading. It says hunter's moon or blood moon. So that's what it's really called, a blood moon. Hunter's moon is mentioned in several sources as the Anglo-Saxon name for a full moon of October. This is the month when the game is fattened, and it is time to start preparing for the coming winter. Traditionally, this included hunting, slaughtering, and preserving meats for use in the coming winter months, man. So it's time to hunker down, right? But the scriptures say what? 2 Timothy 4:2. Preach the word, be instant in season and out of season. Reprove, rebuke, exhort with all long suffering and doctrine. All right, so our job is to what? Continue to teach in the cold, in the winter, in the summer, in the spring, and the fall. So every season, all right, being the voice of the Lord, a conversation or calling out or warning to the people until the Lord stops speaking. And he brings that action. All right, so you have a new moon coming in on October 27th this month. All right, so that's going to start your new month. And then that evening to the next evening, that's your first, that's like day 0. All right, but of course we know day 0 didn't exist because the Persians created that. Iranians created the number 0. All right, so what would it be called? It would be called Kasad. You know, Kasad Yarak would be new moon. Now it says something new, so it's being made new or renewed, refreshed, just like the new moon or New Jerusalem. All right, or new heaven and new earth. Same way you look at a new moon, it's just refreshed. It's the same moon. But anyway, so it's coming in that evening. All right. Now you had one that just passed. Well, it was on a Saturday. And it came in September 28th at 2:26. All right. And that was Saturday. So right now the new moon lands on a Saturday. So if you went to work and you told your job that, they'd probably be like, no, we can't keep changing your days off according to your new moon. See that? So I'm finished reading this. Sirach 43:6. He made the moon also to serve in her seasons for a declaration of times and a sign of the world. Look at that sign again. All right. And that's what it's going to be unto man. You know, from the moon is the sign of the feast, a light that decreaseth in her perfection waning. All right, what we just saw. It waxes, it wanes. The month is all due to the angling and bending of light that the Most High set up from the sun. The month is called after her name, increasing wonderfully in her changing. Wow. Being an instrument, so it's not to be worshipped, you know. It's what? An instrument of the armies above, shining in the firmament of heaven. The beauty of heaven, the glory of the stars, an ornament giving light in the highest places of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. All right, so it gives off light from what? The reflection of the sun. All right, it actually can absorb light and it reflects light like a mirror. All right, just like the sun is a light itself, and it gives off like sun rays or UV rays. All right, so that's what he meant by the times and the signs, man. The signs in the heavens and the times that we're coming into. We're going into the time of hunting. There's gonna be a lot of hunting out here, and us, we're supposed to be what? Fishers. And the Lord said He gonna make us hunters one day, man. And that's our hope and that's our faith. But He said, wait ye upon Him till He rise up to the prey. So we ain't supposed to be out here killing people, you know, like IUIC doing. Or using guns and shit, like as a camp. You can have a weapon to protect your house, that's different, but your family. 1 Peter 5:8. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, all right, what's the word adversary in the Hebrew? Adversary means what? Satan. and that's your contender, the one that's against you, Antichrist. Because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour, whom resist steadfast in the faith, knowing that the same afflictions are accomplished in your brethren that are in the world. But the power of all grace, who have called us unto his eternal glory by Yahweh Shai Mashiach, after that ye have suffered a while, make you perfect, establish, strengthen, and settle you, man. So we're going to go through some suffering in these times of evil. But the Lord said what? Ultimately, he's going to establish us and give us spiritual powers, man, and make us the hunters.